Okay, I just want to start this video off by saying that if you're in school looking to be an engineer, a lawyer, or a doctor, then you need to click off of this video and go do your homework. Okay, this video is not for you. You need to stay in school. Okay, I am not here to bash college. College is necessary for some people. And if you're in one of those majors, then you are one of those people. Now, on the flip side of that, if you're anything like me, then you probably want to watch this video to the end because it's probably going to save you a lot of money and a lot of time. So, growing up, I lacked direction in life. Now, I was a very smart, intelligent kid. I had straight A's basically all the way through school. Maybe had like 2 to 3 B's from elementary school all the way through the end of high school. Okay, so I was really good when it came to grades and just doing my work. But I didn't like school. I didn't like school, and it always confused me because it seemed like all the smart kids were really passionate about school and they wanted to do extracurricular activities and join these clubs and take advanced classes and everything like that. But I didn't like school at all. I hated school so much. I hated the structure and the order. I hated having to answer to my teacher and having to wake up early and go to school when I'm tired, at 7 o'clock in the morning. I hated everything about school. And the funny thing is, at a young age, I was a very creative kid. In fact, in first grade, I wanted to be an author. That was one of the very first things that I wanted to do. And I was into origami. I was just really creative. A lot of kids in general are very creative. But I feel like over time, school kind of restricts that and it forces you to think realistically. They're imposing their idea of realistic onto you, and they're trying to pressure you into the college 9 to 5 route, which, like I said, for some people, that's what you want to do, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But for people like me, that's just not the way that we want to live. Now, like I said, I always kind of knew this throughout school. I didn't like school at all. In fact, I didn't like school so much that I made it an effort to graduate early. I graduated a semester early, and I remember at the time, I planned on going to UT Austin. Now, if you're not from Texas or you're not really familiar with universities, UT Austin is a very good school, ranking-wise. It's probably one of the top 2 or 3 schools in Texas. And I got automatic admission. So, I was ready to go there just because I was intelligent and I felt like that's what I was supposed to do. Nobody told me about being an entrepreneur or trade school or anything like that. No, because I was a straight A student, it was basically predetermined that I was going to go to a good university, get a good degree, and then get a good job and make good money. And this is definitely a big problem within the school system, is that there's a lack of exposure. They're not exposing these school-age children to the ideas of being an entrepreneur and working for yourself and becoming your own boss. These ideas are foreign to a lot of kids. And like I said, a lot of that is just due to conditioning. They don't give you any other options aside from college. There's just propaganda everywhere. In my high school, there were like college flags everywhere all on the wall, and they had classes just dedicated to college. And of course, all of the teachers went to college, so that's all they can tell you. So, it's just conditioning. And, I'm not trying to sound like a victim, but I do think that there needs to be some type of reform within the school system at the primary and secondary school level before people go to college, so that they'll know that college is not necessarily for everyone. Okay, so like I said, when I graduated from high school, I planned on going to UT Austin. But in that extra semester, that extra time after I graduated, I began to learn about entrepreneurship and working for yourself and passive income and all of those ideas. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I was watching all of these videos on YouTube from people who were living that type of lifestyle. And it's not even so much about the money, it's about the freedom. The freedom is what I desired. Like I said, in school, I hated the structure of school. I wanted to work for myself and set my own schedule. So as I started to accumulate this information about working for yourself, I started to get cold feet about going to UT Austin. I was researching my majors, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, what would make me the most money, and provide me at least somewhat close to the lifestyle that I wanted. And none of them fit the criteria. None of the majors were going to take me on the path that I wanted to be on, which is the path that I'm on right now, where I'm working for myself. And then in addition to that, UT Austin, even with the scholarship that I had, which was basically nothing, mind you, it was going to be around $25,000 a year for tuition, room and board, and all of that. So I was going to come out of college, assuming that I got a 4-year bachelor's degree, with $100,000 in debt for a bachelor's degree. Now, mind you, this is perfectly normal. Okay, people have normalized this, especially when you're going to a top state school like that. UT Austin is one of the best schools, not only in Texas, but in the country. It's a very good school, no matter what you want to major in. And then on top of that, it's in Austin, which is a very desirable city. So, for me to go into debt like that, it seemed normal on the surface level. It seemed like I was going to get that return on investment on the back end, but I knew in my heart that I wouldn't, because whatever job I ended up at, I wasn't going to like it. I was going to be miserable no matter how much money I was making. And like I said, for some people, it makes sense to take on this type of debt if you are pursuing what you're passionate about. But if you're someone like me who was not passionate about anything in particular, like you're a jack of all trades, master of none type of person, then you need to reconsider going to college, because you're probably going to end up in debt for basically no reason. And then you're going to be forced to work at a job that you don't like just to pay off the debt. Now, like I said, I began to get cold feet about going to UT Austin, but I didn't really have the guts to just not go to college at all. I was still fearful. I still had a lot of that conditioning in me that college was the only path to success, which is a lie. Okay, it's a big, big lie. Okay, if you're in high school right now, if you're in middle school, however old you are, don't let people tell you that college is the only path to success. Don't let people tell you that. They're lying. Okay, they're lying to you. It's that simple. Now, what I decided to do was I decided to go to community college. This right here, if you do go to college, I would recommend everybody do this. Go to community college first. You're going to save tens of thousands of dollars by doing this. Now, I will say community college is very boring. The experience on campus is just not really there, at least for the school that I went to. They had a basketball team and all that type of stuff, but most of the people there were like older, I guess. I was always one of the youngest people in my classes at 18, which is a normal age for a college freshman. But, I think it's worth saving those thousands of dollars. And you can go to community college and just get your associate's degree and go straight into the working world and have barely any, if any, debt. So, to me, that's a pretty good trade-off if you do want to go to school. And then even then, if you want to go to university, you can do that. Just do good at community college and go to university. And if you don't do good at community college, then you probably didn't belong in university anyways. So, like I said, I decided to go to community college, and I think I started in August 2018, and I ended up dropping out in March 2019. In that little span of time that I was in college, I switched my major between 5 and 7 times. I could not decide on a career path, and this always frustrated me and bothered me because I felt like I didn't fit in anywhere. How am I going to make money if I don't fit in? A lot of people will tell you that you have to specialize in something to, make money in the working world, which to an extent that's true. If you want to work at a 9-to-5 job, you have to have specialized knowledge. But even if you need that specialized knowledge, I would recommend trade school before going to university, because you're going to get just as much, if not more, specialized knowledge in trade school than you would in university. And it's going to be a lot cheaper. A lot of the classes that you take in college are just filler classes. I was in college taking English and history and all the classes that I already took in high school. So it's a scam. In that way, it is a scam. They're giving you the same classes that you've already taken. So, if you're just looking to make money and that's it, the return on investment for going to trade school or going to community college to get your associates is going to be a lot better, because even if you're making less coming out, you're not going to have as much debt. So even if you're making less, which you may or may not, you're still going to have much less debt to pay off. So at the end of the day, you're going to be in the green, which is really all that matters, because what good is making a lot of money if you're in debt? But like I said though, if you are passionate about something and you want to pursue your passion by going to college, then do that. Do that. College is worth it in that case. But if you're just going because you think that's the only way to be successful, like I said, that's a lie. I don't care who told you that. That's simply a lie, especially nowadays. Nowadays, even going to college, that's not the safe route anymore. And I think we learned that in the pandemic. There were a lot of people who graduated from school this year in 2020 and weren't able to find jobs. Imagine going to college for 4 years, spending tens of thousands of dollars taking out loans, and you can't even find a job. Personally, I would be sick. If I was in that scenario, I would be sick right now, because now you have that debt and you have to find a way to pay it off. So a lot of those people are probably going to have to go to trade school anyways, or go back and get an associate's in something that they can find work in, or even pick up like lower end like service jobs, which there's nothing wrong with those either. Get it how you get it. But the point is, they went through all of that trouble and have nothing to show for it except a bunch of debt. And that's what people need to understand, is that times are different. What your parents are telling you about college does not apply anymore. Okay, your parents don't understand the generation that we grew up in. That's why you have to take what your parents say with a grain of salt, because a lot of times you're more knowledgeable about technology and about, the internet and YouTube and all of this stuff than they are. My parents, they didn't really understand what I was doing when I started doing YouTube, but they understand now because I'm making money. And, I'm 20. If I was in college, I would not be making money right now. I'd be spending money. I'd be spending thousands of dollars in college. And I would come out and maybe get a job or maybe not. But at the end of the day, I would have debt, which I don't have right now. Now, I know a lot of people say that college gives you experience, experience with people, and it helps you grow as a person, which is true. It definitely can and probably will help you, develop in those ways socially and just developing connections. But personally, I've always believed that traveling is a much more effective way of building up that part of yourself, becoming more worldly and sophisticated, and just being less ignorant to the things going on in the world. The best way to be informed is not by watching the news, but by traveling, by visiting different places and talking to the people that live there, and getting a chance to really see what it's like to live somewhere. And, a lot of times traveling is actually cheaper than going to college. Like I said, me going to UT Austin, that would have cost $100,000. $100,000 is more than enough money to travel the world and still have more money left over to go get, an associate's degree or go to trade school if I wanted. So there's really no reason to go to college. If I'm being honest, the only reason why you should go to college is if the thing that you're trying to do requires you to go to college.